from writer-director Rian Johnson.
The Holy Grail. A perfectly impossible crime.
Wake Up Dead Man has critics singing its praises.
God help me. Anything else?
It's a deliciously entertaining mystery.
That's nice.
It's certified fresh.
It's a miracle.
Okay, you're freaking me out now.
It's the best Knives Out movie yet.
This case is solvable, right?
Oh, you'll see. It's fun.
Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery starring Daniel Craig. Now played in select theaters on Netflix December 12th, rated PG-13.
This holiday, give the gift that says, let's cancel plans and just lounge. MeUndies has dropped their new holiday collection, and it's made for maximum cozy. We're talking soft as snow, ultramodal fabric, festive prints, and loungewear so comfy, your couch might get jealous. Onesies, hoodies, joggers, even delightfully quirky holiday designs. You're welcome. Knock out all your holiday gifting needs with deals up to 60% off at MeUndies.com/Spotify. Enter promo code Spotify. That's MeUndies.com/Spotify, code Spotify.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This is really the worst case scenario for every Afghan immigrant in this country. You know from covering immigrants and other marginalized communities that often when these episodes happen, folks kind of hold their breath, praying that it isn't someone who holds their identity, right? Because often there is this reflex to demonize entire communities. And so if you've never had that experience of sort of holding your breath, that's something to think about. But I just got off the phone with Molly Gray. She is the executive director of the Vermont Afghan Alliance. And actually she tells me that Vermont is home to the largest population of Afghans in the nation per capita. And so she does work with these communities. They are frightened. Some of them are not leaving their homes out of fear of retribution. But also, many of them are deeply integrated into the small towns across the state at this point. And she says from a real practical perspective, the state is very reliant on Afghans and the immigrant workforce because of the shrinking workforce and very small tax base in the state. And so often we get an emotional response to these horrible tragedies. But I think once cooler heads ultimately, hopefully prevail, there are real practical implications about how to move forward.
Welcome, my friends, to your Saturday morning extravaganza, the Saturday morning vibe. James Golden, Bo Snerdley here. That was Eva McKinn. She was on CNN reflecting on the apparent fear that she says exists in Vermont, the largest Afghan refugee population. Refugees are in the news, not just from Afghanistan because of the National Guard shooting this Thanksgiving weekend and Thanksgiving 4-day weekend. But the Somalis are also in the news. Donald Trump has decided that it's time to stop. Time to put the brakes on. All asylum reviews have been suspended. Permanent pause he wants on migration from poor countries. And there's a lot to discuss when it just comes to immigration and the aftermath of the National Guard shooting. There's still outrage over that, how people were or were not vetted. The Afghan that committed the act, part of a CIA helped operate a group of Afghans who trained with the CIA. Part of what is called a death squad, actually. Telephone numbers, 800-848-9222. Telephone numbers, 800-848-9222 if you want to be on the program today. Of course, it is also the start of the shortened shopping season because Thanksgiving came so late today. By the time Thanksgiving concluded, we were less than a month away from Christmas. So Black Friday reports are coming in that in some cases, Black Friday sales did not meet expectations in terms of the number of people out shopping. I don't know whether that's accurate or not. I think the news reporting on Black Friday has something to do with who's in office. Just a sneaky suspicion because now I read reports. Oh, people are petrified. You see these reports every year. People are searching for discounts. Yeah, that's kind of the point of Black Friday. Supposedly, Black Friday sales. So we have Black Friday, and now what is Saturday? Is it after Black Friday? What color is Saturday? I don't know. Is it like Mocha Saturday? On the program today, we're expecting to hear from Princess Diana. Looking very much forward to that. Lizzie Radabali will be here. America's small caffeinated mom is taking the day off today. And I'm looking forward to speaking with you. Lots of things to discuss. Let us review, and I played two pieces of audio yesterday, which I'm going to replay today. And one is from the presidential spokesperson, who's now a host on MS, whatever it is, this Jen Psaki. And Jen Psaki was this cut 20, Elias. Jen Psaki, and then right behind that, let's play Donald Trump, 19. Jen Psaki, assuring us that the Afghan rebels that were coming, the Afghan refugees coming in were perfectly fine. Let's go back and revisit Jen.
There are, of course, concerns among lawmakers, experts who've tracked this. They're saying previous arrivals of large numbers of refugees from different parts of the world, inevitably there may be small handful who are eventually deemed a security risk of some kind. What reassurances can you make about the screening process and the attempts to make sure that somebody like that doesn't make his or her way here?
I can absolutely assure you that no one is coming into the United States of America who has not been through a thorough screening and background check process.
Yeah, that was in 2021, Jen Psaki. I can assure you, no one's coming in that hasn't been through a thorough screening process. Okay, Jen Psaki. Donald Trump had something to say in 2021. This is what he said about the very same refugees.
And nobody knows who the hell they are, Cheryl. These aren't the interpreters that we taught. These were people that rushed into the planes. And they were so interested in trying to make it sound like, oh, they're doing a good job. These people, many of these people are going to be terrorists, okay? They're going to be terrorists. They were very powerful. They were very energetic in getting onto the aircraft.
They say they're vetting them very carefully with biometrics and documentation.
They're not doing that, and you can't because there is no documentation. And that.
Yeah. You know, which is a good question. Oh, they're doing biometric. Where are the biometric records from Afghanistan? Give me a break. There were none from some of these people. Really? I mean, we're always told things that just stretch the imagination. Margaret Brennan, at the time, this cut 5, asked the then DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas about another terrorist suspect and the vetting process that went on. And listen to Mayorkas.
Can you quickly explain what the status is with this arrest this past week, or this prosecution we learned of this past week, of this Afghan national who was apparently planning an election day terrorist attack on behalf of ISIS? He was in this country. He had immigration status. Was he radicalized before he came to the United States?
So, Margaret, it is an ongoing prosecution, so I won't speak of the facts, but the viewing public is getting an idea of the breadth and diversity of the missions that we in the Department of Homeland Security tackle.
But it gets to the issue of vetting versus whether he was radicalized here.
Remember, the individual came in through parole, an Afghan national, and when we vet, and we do so intensively, when we vet an individual, it's a point-in-time screening and vetting process.
It's a point-in-time screening and vetting. What does any of that mean? This is double talk. This is, now we have a situation where we see what happened with the lack of vetting and all of these remarks. have left people just cold and angry. There is a Gold Star father. This story was on Fox Digital today. The father of Staff Sergeant Darren Taylor Hoover, who was one of the 13 service members killed in the Abbey Gate bombing as Joe Biden decided to unilaterally get out of Afghanistan, leave over what was reported at the time, billions, tens of billions of dollars of U.S. equipment, military equipment to fall into the hands of whoever. And he is angry. He said this is on the feckless Biden administration. We had no idea who was getting into this country because the Biden administration, especially the State Department run by Anthony Blinken, didn't do the work that was needed to vet all these people. There were so many people put on planes that got out initially. We have no idea who they were. By doing this, all we got was men of fighting age that are almost likely to be terrorists that are here in the homeland to do us all harm and take our beloved United States of America. And he went on to say that and talk about the shooting and how of his son, how the Gold Star parents were pretty much, they got a canned letter, he said, from the Biden administration. After that, nothing. After their loved ones were killed in the line of duty. There is massive anger. Democrats are angry too, by the way, and we'll talk about that. They're blaming Donald Trump. What else do they do? What other response do they possibly have for anything but to blame Donald Trump? We played Wasserman Schultz yesterday. She's blaming the National Guard deployment on being the reason that the National Guard's person was assassinated. That Sarah Beckton lost her life. She's blaming Trump. It's beyond sickening, actually. But we haven't even talked about Somalia yet. We haven't talked about what's happening with the Somali scams and Donald Trump's reaction.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
All right, we got the answer. Thank you, Debbie Duhame, and thank you, Lizzie. Apparently, both of them have informed us that today does have a special designation. It is not White Saturday. It is not Mocha Saturday. It is Small Business Saturday. The annual event, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, encourages you, the consumers, to support small and local businesses during the holiday shopping season. It was launched by the Small Business American Express back in 2010. So, following Black Friday, there's no White Saturday, there's no Mocha Saturday, there is Small Business Saturday. So do your business and check out and help the small businesses if you want to be in the holiday spirit. Which then leads us to the question, well then what is Sunday? I'm sure there's an answer for that somewhere too. Maybe it's White Sunday, maybe it's Mocha Sunday, or maybe it's Brown and Indigenous Sunday. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay. The issues, and we do have telephone calls and people do want to weigh in on some of these things. And we will take your telephone calls at 800-848-9222. Want to just go with this. Donald Trump wants to permanently pause migration from poorer nations. is promising to seek to expel millions of immigrants from the United States by revoking their legal status. The story, Trump is blaming immigrants for problems from crime to housing shortages as part of what he calls social dysfunction in America. This is an AP story. His most severe social media post against immigration since returning to the Oval Office in January came after the shooting Wednesday of 2 National Guard members. On Friday, his administration announced it's halting all asylum decisions. The director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, Joseph Edlow, said in a post on X that this will be paused until we can assure that every alien is vetted and screened to the maximum degree possible. Do you object, ladies and gentlemen, to this? Do you find this objectionable? I wonder if, here's the thing. Let's just cut to the chase on this. Anytime you just, like with the Somalis, 22, cut 22. Let's just play it and then we'll comment. Cut 22, Donald Trump, because he has talked about what is happening with the Somali refugees.
What do the Somalians have to do with this Afghan guy who shot the national?
Nothing, but Somalians have caused a lot of trouble. They're ripping us off for a lot of money. There's a tremendous amount of money going back to Somalia. What the hell are we paying money to Somalia for? But they're ripping off our country at a level that few people have been able to see before. That's about the only thing. You talk about competence. We have Ilhan Omar, who does nothing but complain about our country and our Constitution. And she comes from a country with practically no country. It's devastated. It's crime-ridden. It's a mess. It's a disgrace. And we took their people at a tremendous... We're not taking their people anymore. We're not taking their people. And we're getting a lot of their people out because they're nothing but trouble.
So you have that. He also talked about what's going to happen with 19 other countries. We don't have time at the moment to play that. We will wait until we concluded our next profit center. But we will get to that. It's not just Somalia, it's other countries. So what are your thoughts about that, folks? I mean, automatically people, well, you shouldn't make statements about a general population, a large population. This should be based on individuals. That is a reflex reaction. Should we, as the United States, limit immigration from what people are what Donald Trump called third world countries? Is that fair? Is that the way to handle what many people, what we know is an immigration crisis in this country? Is that the way to go about it? Your thought. I have my own thoughts, which I will share with you as the time rolls out. But what's happened, by the way, with the Somali population, with part of the sum of the Somali population in Minnesota, deserves to be looked at. We're coming back. Don't go away.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I'm being so serious. The next man that enters my life, he is required to take me out on 3 dates before he gets a sleepover and before he gets my clothes off. Okay, I'm being so for real right now because here's the thing. As soon as you spend the night with a man, not even doing anything, they stop asking you out on dates. Then, once you sleep with them, they don't want anything to do with you anymore, which, like, whatever. I'm tired of men sexualizing me and objectifying me. Yeah, I've made it very easy for them to do that in the past, but, like, I'm done. I'm seriously done. Like, hookup culture is fun for, like, 5 minutes. I miss connection. I miss having feelings. I miss being yearned for. I miss yearning. I can't just keep getting obsessed with a man for a week or two and then moving on to the next one.
They have words for
It's too exhausting, and it's honestly, like, mentally draining. So seriously, the next guy that enters my life, he has to take me on 3 dates.
3 dates.
Not
3 whole
sleepovers,
dates.
not hang outside at his apartment. He has to take me to in-person public activity dates, whether it's dinner, whether it's going on a walk, something. I am tired of a man being like, let's go on one date, and then you can come over, and you can just come over every time you want to hang out. No. What happened to romance? I want romance! Anyways, celibacy era is going great, so...
As you join us for coffee this Saturday morning, okay, we were talking about Somalia. You heard the other remarks. Let's quick back to Donald Trump. Cut 21. This is a little bit long, but let's just to where we are today with immigration. Yes, your phone calls. We will. Don't go away with that. Stay on
hold. The Trump administration
please.
did make this announcement today that it would be re-examining green card holders from 19 countries that mirror Trump's travel ban 2.0. But there had been a previous announcement by the administration that they were already planning to do this a couple of weeks ago. Now, we have heard from members of the Trump administration who point to a program that allowed Afghan evacuees to enter into the United States in September of 2021, a lot of finger pointing around what's known as Operation Allies Welcome. And CIA Director Radcliffe said the alleged shooter traveled to the U.S. in September of 2021, his ticket in part due to that program, but also powered by Operation Allies Welcome and his work with the intelligence agency as a member of a partner force in Afghanistan. But just to get people up to speed on what the vetting looked like as part of that program, a Justice Department Inspector General audit found of the nearly 90,000 evacuees that fled to the United States, ultimately the FBI flagged just 231 individuals through watch list screening, including 55
we have the idea of what's
US.
Going on here. Of course, over 90,000 coming in. Do you think that your government did a thorough vetting of 90,000 people in that short space of time? Let me ask another question. Do you think that your government has ever fully vetted the 11 million people that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden let in? Do you think that we would be seeing the fraud that exists in Minnesota if the Barack Obama administration had thoroughly vetted almost 80,000 people that came in there? Prosecutors, this New York Times story, how fraud swamped Minnesota's social services system on Tim Walz's watch. Federal prosecutors charged dozens of people with felonies, accusing them of stealing hundreds of millions of dollars. Not hundreds of thousands of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars from a government program meant to feed hungry kids. Over the last 5 years, law enforcement say fraud took root in the pockets of Minnesota's Somali population, as scores of individuals made fortunes by setting up companies that bill state agencies for millions of dollars worth of social services that were never provided. Federal prosecutors say 59 people have been convicted in schemes so far. More than $1 billion in taxpayer money stolen in just 3 of the plots that they are looking at. Over $1 billion. So there is outrage swelling in Minnesota. In recent days, President Trump has weighed in, calling Minnesota a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity, saying the Somali perpetrators should be sent back to where they came from. Many Somali Americans in Minnesota say the fraud has damaged the reputation of their entire community of about 80,000 people, at a moment when their political and economic standing was on the rise. Debate over fraud has opened new rifts between the state's Somali community and other Minnesotans, has left some Somali Americans saying they are unfairly facing a new layer of suspicion against all of them, rather than the small group accused of the fraud. fair? What to do? Telephones. Donna, calling from Connecticut. How are you, Donna? Good morning.
Hi, James. I'm doing well. I think in light of what happened over the last 4 years under Biden, I think that I agree with the president. I think there should be a ban on immigration. They have to weed out all the bad people. Unfortunately, that makes it worse for people who are maybe on the list for legal immigration. But I think they've, for, the last 40, 50 years, flouted and loosened the requirements for people coming in here. I mean, I have to go back to the benchmark of, like, my grandfather coming over from Italy in 1905. My grandfather came over from Italy alone, and he started a business. And I think that, I don't know if they call them the Western Europeans that came from Europe, but they had to prove themselves, come to Ellis Island or come via the cruise ship where you were already vetted, more or less, because you were a quote, upper class of person. But they worked, they built the infrastructure of a lot of the country. Nobody gave them a hand up. They didn't wave their country of origin flag. That's what annoys me the most. They assimilated. They didn't, bring attention to themselves. They didn't have their signs in Italian or German or other languages when you went into their stores. So I object to all of that. And I certainly object to the way that immigration was handled the last 4 years, what they did in New York City, staying in the best hotels. I mean, now the Roosevelt Hotel is like rebuilt, and it's going to, what. So I agree with the president. I think it's something that has to be done.
Okay, let me just ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. You mentioned that your ancestor, your grandfather, came here legally, passed legal muster. There were tons of, I shouldn't say tons, there were hundreds of thousands, if not more, of illegal immigrants from Western Europe as well. Of course, that led to some horrible, derogatory names. One of them, without official papers, which was whatever. And that's what many Italian immigrants were called, and other names that were horrible.
Yes.
And there was never a push. Okay, so there was never a push to repatriate a lot of those people back. Now, is it fair to look at today's immigrants? And I'm just asking, is it fair to look at the illegal immigrants that have swamped this country in numbers that we have never seen? We're talking about 11 million just in the Biden-Harris years. Is it fair to say to these people, we are going to deport as many of you as humanly possible?
I would say the bad ones. I just think everything is too overrun.
I'll answer my question myself. Yes, it's totally fair. We can't change the past. We can change the present. And so things may not seem to be fair, but right now, this country has been overrun. It has been equated to an invasion. We cannot. I saw a story today about there's more angst because Medicaid is going to be sharing their health data with ICE, and Democrats are having a cow. How dare you? Wait a minute. Just 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, they were telling us that illegal immigrants weren't accessing Medicaid and Medicare. If that's the problem, though, if that's the case, then what's the problem? So, I don't know. It is certainly it's a dicey situation, but, do you agree that something needs to be done immediately, Donna?
I didn't want it to be the way it was in the first place. That was terrible. That was horrible during a pandemic as well. I'll tell you that my grandmother and her sister, well, my grandfather died in 1945, 57 years old. They went to work in a cigarette factory, rolling cigarettes, or a cigarette factory. My grandfather from Italy, I had an Irish side, a Polish side, an Italian side. Nobody, police officers, chauffeur. My grandfather was an iceman, a coal man, then an iceman. 13 children. Nobody gave him nothing. They waved the American flag. That's it. It just annoys me to no end when I see, and I won't name the one group that annoys me the most. You don't have to. I won't.
You don't have to. You don't have to. We know, everyone knows what you're talking about because so many people are annoyed by it. Donna, thank you for the call. I appreciate it very much. Let's go very quickly to Steve in Connecticut as well. Steve.
Hey, Bo.
Hey, got to get to your point. Time is fleeing quickly.
Okay, wish I had more time, but just wanted to let people know that Al-Shabaab, where a lot of this money from Minnesota is going, is a regional threat to all of East Africa. They're currently in a civil war to take over the government and declare a caliphate. It was the first terrorist group to formally recognize Al-Qaeda, and its members have trained in Afghanistan and are currently causing a lot of trouble all across East Africa. It's a key geographical location because 10% of the world's oil has to pass across its waters. And so a lot of this money from Minnesota is not going to good purposes.
Thank you. I am assuming that you have researched this. And what are your sources for this, by the way?
There's a few books out there. The most recent one was called Al-Shabaab Mafia, Inc., because there's a lot of similarities between how Al-Shabaab operates and an organized crime group, because they do a lot of extortion in country. They skim money off of port receipts at places like Kismayo. They set up illegal roadblocks and just tax truck drivers like right there on the spot. So they collect, their estimated revenues are $1.3 billion using those kinds of methods.
Wow. Steve, thank you very much for the call. We appreciate you. And thanks for getting right to the point. James Golden, Snerdley here. It is Saturday morning. Saturday morning indeed. Have another cup of coffee here.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, Snerdley. Peter is on the line again. A Connecticut call. Peter, how are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning, sir. Just wanted to make a comment about immigration. I came to the United States as a refugee myself with my brothers about 37 years ago, and in order for us to come here, we had to be processed at a refugee camp. We needed a sponsor. We had to submit a background investigation and fingerprints, and you name it. But the most important thing was that we had to be interviewed to make sure that we were properly vetted, that we would come to the United States to become Americans, to embrace the values that America would, espouse. And everything has changed. And eventually I became an attorney and started practicing immigration law. And what's perturbing is the fact that since the Obama administration, we lowered the standards for anyone who wants to come to the United States. And during the Biden administration, we became overwhelmed. The system was collapsing because anyone who wanted to come to the United States was being coached properly by people from the NGOs, the non-for-profit organizations, the 26 Federal Laws and other centers, as to how to work the system. And And they were pretty much told how to apply for relief, how to apply for asylum. Everything was prepared for them. None of these people, at least the ones that I encountered, had any reasons to come to the United States, but for the fact that we were enticing them to come here for the benefits that we were offering. And that is a really perturbing fact and bothers people like my family and I and hundreds of thousands of refugees who probably came to the United States to become Americans. And we find that to be offensive to begin with, that we have diluted the meaning of Americanism any longer. And then people are coming over here just, to take advantage of what we offer them.
You are brilliant, number one. I hope you can leave your name and number. He's an immigration attorney, folks. And I have a lot more questions for you, but we don't have a lot more time. Peter, you're brilliant. And everything that you said verifies some of the reporting that we've done on this show from Todd Bensman, who talked about the way that the UN and NGOs were helping to subvert U.S. immigration law. We got our number uno's in the can. Our number duo is coming up with Lizzie. So, whatever you do, keep it right there. And your phone calls, if you're on hold, stay on hold, please. We'll be back. Don't go away.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome, my friends. Our number duo of our Saturday morning extravaganza, the Saturday morning vibe. James Golden, Bo Snerdley with you. This is the hour where we check in with America's favorite news anchorette. She's the star, Red Apple Audio Network's news. Our very own voice of her generation, the one, the only, Lizzie Radabali. Good morning, dear Lizzie.
Good morning, Bo, and happy Small Business Saturday. Happy Small Business Saturday to all those small business owners out there and anyone shopping.
Yeah, well, are you going to go out shopping later today?
I don't know. I'm trying to, really budget both my time and, of course, my money this holiday season. I'm not doing that many gifts this holiday season. I have to admit, I'm kind of in a place where I'm saving up for a wedding. So I got bigger.
Yeah, so you got to be careful with the bucos.
Exactly.
Yeah, Lizzie, listen, I gotta ask you a question. You only heard part of that young lady that we played earlier. Now, first of all, you got 3 stories here that I want to get to, and then I gotta play some sound bites for you. So, tell you what, let's do these 3 stories real quick, and then I gotta play this sound bite for you, okay?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
All right, but first you gotta tell me, who the hell is Katy Perry? I keep seeing her name everywhere. I guess she's one of these actresses. I can't keep up with all these.
You don't know Katy Perry, you don't know Baby or
probably know her face. I'm the worst person when it comes to these movies. I don't read the credits anymore.
She's not even an actress, Bo.
What is she?
She's a singer. She's a pop singer. She actually did
her.
Yeah, she did the Super Bowl not so long ago. She did the Super Bowl.
Well, I don't watch it.
She did the Super Bowl halftime show. She's a big, pop star. She had a Vegas residency a few years ago,
Now you said it. Now, of course, I know who Katy Perry is. I just forget the names.
I know.
Yeah, Katy Perry. There's so many of these. Anyway, what's her problem?
Okay, well, she is suing a dying veteran right now for around $5 million. And this is going viral because, of course, that headline is just so salacious. I mean, a pop star, a mega pop star like Katy Perry, like I said, she's had a Vegas residency. She's a huge deal. She's been on the Billboard charts. She's suing this dying man over a property dispute. And I just have to say there's a lot of arguments in this story that maybe Katy Perry is, I don't know, like the Antichrist or something. I'll get to why. I'll get to that in a bit. But this is just sinister, what she's doing here. She is suing this man who is now suffering in bed with Huntington's disease. That's a neurological disorder. It's degenerative. He needs around-the-clock care. He is a former Army serviceman. He originally was going to sell his home, his $15 million home in California, to Katy Perry and her former partner, Orlando Bloom. He's an actress. They had a baby together, and they were pressuring this guy to give up their home. And he then sold that home, but then tried to back out of the deal. And because he tried to back out of the deal, Katy Perry is countersuing him for legal costs and repairs to the home, which that doesn't make any sense to me, how a property dispute would then result in money that she would get to repair the home. It's very confusing, but a judge did rule in Katy Perry's favor back in 2023, saying that they did have to go through with this home sale. So now she's countersuing this guy. And this, like I said, this is not even the first legal dispute that Katy Perry has been involved in. That's where this takes a quite sinister turn. Back in 2018, she was actually involved in a lawsuit with a nun convent, a Los Angeles convent. They were disputing once again over property. The 89-year-old the litigant in this lawsuit, Sister Catherine Rose Holtzman, collapsed and died in court during an appearance related to this case. And her last words to the press before this court appearance, to Katy Perry, please stop. Now, that's just evil, man. That was her dying words from this nun.
I'm not going to comment on this because All right, second story here. Somebody's stunned to learn she has low brain activity. Who is it?
She is the only one stunned by that. It's Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian has gone through a brain aneurysm recently. She got diagnosed with a brain aneurysm.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and so she's been getting these scans to keep an eye on things. And apparently she got this scan on her new show, the reboot of their reality show, The Kardashians. The doctor told Kim that she has a, quote, beautiful brain, and she's not at any risk for Alzheimer's or any diseases like that in the future, but there are some holes in her brain that could indicate low activity. So that's
there are holes in her brain.
Yes. Typically, mostly in her frontal lobes. That's where it could be hard to manage stress in the future. It would lead to poor quality of life issues, of course.
There are holes in her brain.
Yeah, and frontal lobe, that's where the critical thinking takes place. So, I mean, that's like where I said not many people shocked that Kim Kardashian has got a few holes.
Let me just say this. Let me just say this. That girl has managed to become a multi-billionaire, right?
Yeah. No, that is true. That she has, been able to have this major come up, but I will say a lot of that is credit to her mom, her momager.
Whatever. She ain't dumb. Okay. Batman makes people behave better. And what the? Excuse me. What? Batman makes people behave better, and Batman is a fictitious. How does Batman make people behave better in public, Lizzie?
Well, so this was a study that was conducted in Milan, actually. This team ran a bunch of experiments in a train. They wanted to see how an unexpected event could impact your everyday routine. And it seems that, a lot of the times when we're walking around, we're kind of walking around on autopilot. A lot of the times, I mean, my body clock is so in tune that I could fall asleep on the train and wake up at my exact stop. I could fully get some rest. So, you're always in this autopilot, but that can, stop you from doing good things for others. So they did this experiment where they had a visibly pregnant woman on a train, and they found that more people offered up their seats when a guy dressed up as Batman also entered the train the same time as that pregnant woman. And it was actually a significant increase. It went from 37% giving up their seats to 67% when Batman was there. So it's a huge shift. Batman really does impact, the altruism in the air, but crime to be determined. I'd like to see what happens if someone's acting a little bit crazy or nefarious, and then Batman enters the scene. I want to see that study because I'd like to see the impact of Batman's presence for crime. But it's good to know that you want to do a good deed when you see a guy dressed up as a superhero. That's positive.
That is that's an interesting story. Goodness, love it. Okay. The soundbite. Lizzie, here it comes. You can listen to it all as well as you folks. Let's listen to it again.
I'm being so serious. The next man that enters my life, he is required to take me out on 3 dates before he gets a sleepover and before he gets my clothes off. Okay, I'm being so for real right now because here's the thing. As soon as you spend the night with a man, not even doing anything, they stop asking you out on dates. Then, once you sleep with them, they don't want anything to do with you anymore, which, like, whatever. I'm tired of men sexualizing me and objectifying me. Yeah, I've made it very easy for them to do that in the past, but, like, I'm done. I'm seriously done. Like, hookup culture is fun for, like, 5 minutes. I miss connection. I miss having feelings. I miss being yearned for. I miss yearning. I can't just keep getting obsessed with a man for a week or two and then moving on to the next one. It's too exhausting, and it's honestly, like, mentally draining. So seriously, the next guy that enters my life, he has to take me on 3 dates. Not sleepovers, not hangouts at his apartment. He has to take me to in-person public activity dates, whether it's dinner, whether it's going on a walk, something. I am tired of a man being like, let's go on 1 date, and then you can come over, and you can just come over every time you want to hang out. No. What happened to romance? I want romance! Anyways, celibacy era is going great so far.
Lizzie? 3 dates, and then 3 dates, and then you get the sleepover booty call. 3 dates. That's a high bar.
Okay, well, I'll say that this is not, I don't think this is admonishing towards my generation specifically.
Really?
Because the 3 date rule, that's from an episode of Sex in the City from the 90s, okay? So let's get that straight, first of all. That the 3 date rule, yeah, that comes from way back when, before I was even born, first of all. So
Lizzie,
the 3 date rule has been around. I don't think
Lizzie, do you think that 3 dates is a high bar?
3
dates and then you give it up? Is that a high bar?
Everybody has different measures for, where they want to be in their relationship. I do think that kind of putting a label like, this prerequisite, I don't think is a healthy way to develop a relationship. But I do think that it's healthy for, self-control. If you have issues with, intimacy, you tend to let people in, you tend to let people walk all over you, I guess. I think that it is good to give yourself this boundary, say, you know what, it has to be at least 3 dates. I don't think that that's a negative per se. I don't think that that's also like how you're gonna find the soulmate, of your life. I just think that is a guideline that people have to give themselves because, we're in a dating economy that is just an abundance of choice. With these apps, she said the hookup culture is, much more seamless than it's ever been before. You could get on an app and message someone and then meet up with them and have a hookup right there. I mean, but I will say that weekly sexual activity for adults ages between 18 to 64 has gone down significantly. Gen Z is actually not hooking up at the levels that, the generations before them was, millennials or Gen Xers. Gen Z is having way less sex. And in fact, in the 90s, that weekly sexual activity rate was at 55% in the 90s when we got that 3-date rule. And in 2024, it got down to 37%. So maybe the 3-date rule worked. Maybe the 3-date rule helps some people find, find their soulmate. Maybe some people, they're celibate for life now because of that 3-date rule. Who knows? But I do think that I will say the idea that, this generation is fast and loose, I think is a misnomer and it is just statistically inaccurate.
I see. Lizzie, at the risk of sounding like an ancient, fossil, 3 dates wouldn't even get you never mind, Lizzie. 3 dates.
Well, you didn't have Tinder back then. You didn't have Hinge. You didn't have, there's an app for literally every single demographic. So, So an app is, because we didn't have the app, Yeah, you didn't have, like I said, it's seamless.
We didn't have the app.
It's so seamless now to just meet someone, talk someone, find common interests. Yeah, you don't have to go through the whole meet cute. You don't have to
get. And here's the booty.
You don't have to get wrapped up in a whirlwind romance, like she said. You don't have to,
3 dates.
Yeah, like I said,
3 dates.
It's old.
And then
That's
you
old.
can have the booty.
Goes back to the 90s. Charlotte was the one who first said it. Charlotte from Sex and the City was the one who came up with that. So it's predates me, the 3-date rule. Predates my existence.
Predates Lizzie. Oh boy. Lizzie, as always, do I ever learn a lot from you? I learned so much from you. It's just a never ending fountain of knowledge that you bring to the table, Lizzie, for me. Thank you. I learned so much.
I love our generational exchange, Bo. Thank you so much.
Me too. James Golden, Snerdley. Here are 3 dates and you can win the prize, and it's not new. Kids these days.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
You know what? I meant to mention something last week, and I totally forgot, and I apologize for it, because you guys missed something if you live in the Northeast. In New Jersey, there was a performance of the Keene University Community Wind Ensemble in New Jersey in Hillsdale, New Jersey. And that is conducted by my dear friend Patrick Burns, who's just an amazing conductor. So they're going to be performing. I'll keep you when they perform next time. I've learned more about classical from music, and just music in general from Patrick Burns. He's just such a beautiful human being, beautiful teacher, and just an amazing conductor and musician. So I'm so sorry I missed telling you about that in advance. The next time it comes up, I'll let you know. He texted me, just let me know that it was a fantastic performance. So I'll let you know when the next time they're going to be performing. Those of you fans of beautiful classical music and the like. Let's see. Let us go to Donald in Minnesota. Donald, thank you for waiting. What's on your mind?
Yeah. Hi, James. This is Dom from Minnesota.
Oh, it's Dom from Minnesota. Got it, Dom. Go ahead, Dom. Time is running.
I immigrated to this country in the 1990s. I had to interact with the federal government for almost 10 years before I got my green card. Every time I went to Milwaukee in Wisconsin, I saw those people with guns and, uniforms. I was terrified to speak the truth every time. Today, thanks to Joe Biden's immigrants, or border crashers, if you will, they're coming from countries where waiting 3 dates before a booty call is a felony punishable by public flogging. That's the problem we're having. We're not culturally assimilating before we let people in, and that's the problem. I know I sound like a immigrant hater, but that's not the case. Those countries, a woman is not a person, the property to be used as needed. And I know this because of my interactions with Somalis in Minnesota when they first started coming here in the 90s. They didn't show that in so many words, but they said, you know what, woman is, like the more, enlightened one.
Dom, unfortunately we have to cut it short there, Dom, because of the time. But love hearing from you, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Let's get to Monique in Rhode Island, who has been patiently waiting. And thank you so much, Monique. How are you?
Good, James. Calling because I think I'm sure you saw that the Fani Willis charges against President Trump have been dropped, as well they should be. So I'm calling you, James, to ask you, please, will you play the Fani Willis anthem one more time?
I will play for you, Monique. You are so wonderful. Yes, I will play, and I'm sorry, I refuse to call her Fani. I will play the Fannie Willis.
Thank you, James.
Okay, here we go.
Hold my fanny, but she loves no one but me. Everybody wants to seize my fanny. Everybody likes to squeeze my fanny. They do everything to please my fanny. Still she loves no one but me. Oh, don't touch my fanny. Please don't ever try.
That's a big one.
My little fanny is reserved for just one guy. That's
it ain't little.
I never let another love light blind me. Everywhere I go, you'll always find me with my little fanny right behind me, 'cause she's so in love with me.
And there you go, my friends. Everybody loves the fanny. That fanny. Yes, our dear Fannie Willis has suffered a great humiliation. All that talk, all that bravado came crashing. And, I haven't seen her make a statement about the case being dismissed. She hasn't been anywhere. She used to love being in front and in back of the news cameras, especially the back. And haven't seen Fannie, the Fannie. And what a remarkable Fannie she is. Greg in Vernon, New Jersey has been waiting. Greg, how are you? Thank you for your patience.
Thank you for taking my call, Bo. I'm great. I'm hoping that you're good. I hear a lot of words and terms and phrases being kicked around, and a lot of them are wrong. This is not a nation of immigrants. We're a nation of American citizens. Some of which, all of which, my parents included, came through Ellis Island the right way. Some people didn't come through any vetting process. They came here illegally. They're illegals. Illegal is not a sick bird. It's a person who breaks the law. And Trump is doing a 1,000% correct thing by getting rid of these people, as many as he can. We got a big problem on our hands, and it's going to take a while to straighten this out. But at least the border's shut down. Well, now we can focus on who's here, doing the right things, the wrong things, and hopefully we'll get the people that are doing the wrong things out, send them back to where they came from, because not everybody comes here with good intentions. They just don't. They come here to take advantage of us.
So when you hear, let me ask you a question. Lily Bonnick there. When you hear him say things that blanket the entire Somali population, are you disturbed with that? Or the Afghan population?
No, because that's, for the most part, the people that come here, they come here for that reason. I mean, there's a few that, are decent people, but those decent people, they will fall lockstep in line with all the extremists once they take full power. And that's what their intent is, to dominate the society. They're not here to assimilate, they're here to dominate. And all these people that are like, nice people, they go to work every day, trust me, they will fall lockstep in line with those people, once they become more prominent. And the Somalis, they have a history that they're nothing but pirates. That's how you get ahead.
Wait a minute. Okay. Wait a minute.
All right.
They're nothing but pirates. We cannot ignore. A
lot of them. That was a misstatement. A lot of them are nothing but pirates. And we can see what's going on in Minnesota. And that's just what we see. That's just what we know about. Trust me, there's a lot more. I know a little bit about being a thief, and I can tell one when I see one. All of them. It's just
all of them.
When I looked at it,
all of them. All of them.
You're right. There's probably 4 or 5 that aren't. But
4 or 5 out of 8,000.
I have no use for them. I don't. I'm sorry. I have no use for these people. None. Zero.
Okay.
No tolerance. Sorry.
No tolerance. Greg, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm just laughing as a reaction. Look, I think it's a mistake. I think it's a mistake to say any large body of people is one thing. I agree that this problem that we had with no vetting, I think that we cannot afford to ever lose our humanity in the way that we look at other human beings. Okay? And I think it's a mistake to look at a large group of people and say all of them are something, all of these people, all of them, because it's not true. There are some of them. Now, the problem is that when you have these mass influxes of people that are not vetted, and you get the criminal element in them, with them, it does do damage to an entire population. And it's showing up right now because attitudes are why in the world? And people don't understand. The previous caller that we had, the immigration lawyer, absolutely right. Obama and both Biden lowered the standards to get in here. So then you have all these people coming in, all of them, he just said, all these people. But you do have a significant groups of people coming in that are basically unvetted. And you have what has been a major scandal in Minnesota. Minnesota is just, the state just, it's puzzling how this is allowed to happen in a state. But you have this fraudulent activity. Now, are Somalis the only ones doing fraud? No. Look at this congresswoman down in Georgia who is alleged to have pretty much wiped out $5 billion in fraud just with her little game. Alleged. Look at all the money that flows out of this government into places that it shouldn't. Look at what we don't know is how much of the money that we sent over to Ukraine has ended up in places it shouldn't have ended up. This government is leaking money like a sieve on criminal activity. Some of it from organized crime, which doesn't make the headlines. They figured out how to get the racket on these federal programs as well. This government, the way that this government does not protect the taxpayers' money should be the number one conversation when it comes to this. Why is there no vetting on taxpayers' money that is serious? Why can we just have billions of dollars flowing out the government and no checks on where it's going, no checks on performances, just somebody says they're going to do something, write them a check. Happened during COVID. The problems we're experiencing with Obamacare right now, COVID related, because, let's just hand them higher money in subsidies. The issue is the way that the government, part of the issue is how the government spends your and my money. But I think that we should really hesitate before we look at any large group of people and say they all are this, they all are that. Because it's not true. Now, there may be a significant portion of that group, a disproportionate amount of criminals within that group. And there may be others that should not have come in because they do not measure up to what we used to have as standards from merit. But that's different than ascribing horrible motives to everybody in a group. And I do believe that we do need a 100% halt on the asylum program, which I've been complaining about for years, has been a sham. I will also use this opportunity to say, as much as I blame the Democrats for this, the Republicans have been pretty feckless when it comes to dealing with immigration matters until Donald Trump came along. He's the only one. What did the Bush administration do with immigration to fix any of this? What did any of them do besides Trump, who seems to be the one that's taking all the heat for it? Same thing with health care, by the way. Where's the Republican? Oh, please don't get me started on that. Let's go to Christine in Plainville, Connecticut. Christine, how are you this morning?
Good morning, James. Well, if they only listened to when Obama said, hey, for you here illegally, you got to pay a tax, learn English, you get back in the line, you don't get anything, but we'll give you a path to citizenship. And nothing happened of that, and look at the mess we're in, James. And James, you also said, if I ever have any big news up here to share, well, last Thursday on the Transgender Day of Remembrance, I went to an LGBT-centered church in Hartford called the Metropolitan Community Church, and when I got there, I barely sat down before the couple board of directors took me into the office and told me I'm no longer welcome, and I caused damage to that church because that church was featured in a Project Veritas video, and I commented on it, and Project Veritas had me make a video about this.
So you were disinvited from church, huh?
I got banned from this church, yes, the one that says welcoming to all. See, the pastor was involved with transing a child, underage child.
Listen, Christine, listen. I can't. I just got to be careful here. I don't want to get into any of those kind of specifics because it would be unfair for me to do that without giving that person a chance to respond. So I don't want to go into specific allegations. Okay? But I will tell you, I think it's very odd that you're the first person that I have ever talked to that's been banned from a church. I just think that that's pretty incredible, Christine.
Hey, I didn't have this on my bingo card either, James.
Oh, goodness. Christine, love you. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving in spite of all of that and that you are going to have a great holiday season.
Thank you, James. And same to you and to the WABC AM audience.
Thank you. Let's see. Teddy, hang in there. Teddy's on the line. Can't wait to catch with him, as well as Patrick, George, and so many others. 800-848-9222 is how you reach us. Keep it right here. Ladies and gentlemen.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This holiday season, my friends, help the Red Apple Audio Networks feed those in need. All you have to do to do that is go to redappleaudio.com/turkey. Join Red Apple Audio Networks, AARP New York City, the Police Athletic League, Gristedes and D'Agostino Supermarkets, and nationwide imaging services. We deliver holiday meals to more than 5,000 families across New York. Go to redappleaudionetworks.com/turkey. That's redappleaudionetwork.com/turkey. So, Teddy is on the line with us. Teddy, good morning. How are you?
Okay, good morning, Bo. First of all, I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving, you and your whole family. I stand by that.
You too,
okay.
Teddy.
Okay. I represent the antithesis of all of your callers. I am going to lambaste Trump in dealing with Putin. Okay? Your callers
with who? Wait a minute. You're going to lambaste Trump with Putin?
I'm going to criticize Trump. Okay? I'm going to...
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
He talks a lot. And all that comes out of his mouth is hot air. His niece, Mary Trump, had it right. And when he talks to reporters and calls the woman stupid and calls another woman piggy, okay? No president in my lifetime lifetime conducted themselves like he does.
Wait a minute. Wait, Teddy, you forgot he called another one ugly.
Okay, fine. Okay.
So it's the three of them. It's Piggy, Ugly, and Stupid.
I think he's incompetent. Inflation, the economy is not good. People are talking about the gas bills and food bills, okay? So stop it, Bo, and trying to project that everything is great.
Wait a minute. You said people are talking about the gas bills, right?
Their electric bills. Electric bills have gone up tremendously, okay?
You said, how about gas prices?
Okay, forget about the gas. I used the wrong word.
Forget about gas. But you just said gas price. I just said...
electric bills, Bo. What about your
He's not in charge of electric bills. That would be your local utility. That's not Trump.
He has something to do with the electric...
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. That's your local utility. That's not Trump. That's your local utility. It could be all them wackos that wanted to get away from coal because, coal was bad, and then they started putting up those windmills, and the windmills just ain't happening.
Are you going to say to me that food prices aren't high? Are you going to say to me?
No, I'm not going to. They rose like crazy under Biden, and they're just coming down now.
Oh, stop it, Bo. He's the president. Oh, he's the president, Bo.
Yeah, but like Obama said, what's he going to do? Wave a magic wand? What's he going to do? Wave a magic wand? He don't have a magic wand. Things take time, and they're happening.
Okay,
but you're really upset because he called stupid, ugly, and stupid, ugly, and piggy, and that's terrible,
right? And he's failed with Putin, okay?
And he failed with Putin.
He's gonna sell Zelensky down the drain, okay? And he's gonna tell him, if you don't accept it, I'm not gonna give you
Zelensky doesn't have to agree to anything, though. Zelensky doesn't have to agree to anything.
Yeah, but then Trump said, I won't give you any more weapons, okay?
Okay, Europe can fund him. Why do we have to do it? Europe can fund him if they want to.
Stop it, Bo. Stop defending.
Europe has plenty of money. Don't tell me to stop it. Europe has money.
He's failed. He's incompetent.
Hey, Teddy.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
He should be impeached. He should be thrown out.
Impeached again? You tried that. Your guys tried that twice. It didn't work. Teddy, are you going to come to the ceremony when they put Trump's image on Mount Rushmore?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
I will throw rocks at it. You hear me, Norm?
You'll throw rocks at a mountain.
You hear me, Dom? You hear me, Rob? All of the sycophants, okay?
You're going to throw rocks at the mountain if they put Trump on it. Teddy, we love you.
Yeah.
Happy holidays and happy Black Friday's done. Happy Small Business Saturday and White Sunday and Monday.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Read you exactly what he posted. He said, quote, any document signed by Sleepy Joe Biden with the autopen, which was approximately 92% of them, is hereby terminated and of no further force or effect. He says the autopen is not allowed to be used if approval is not specifically given by the President of the United States. He also says in that post, quote, I am hereby canceling all executive orders and anything else that was not directly signed by crooked Joe Biden because the people who operated the autopen did so illegally. He goes on to say in that post, Joe Biden was not involved in the autopen process, and if he says he was, he'll be brought up on charges of perjury. He says, thank you for your attention to this matter. Of course, this was just posted moments ago to Truth Social. Again, the president, as we know, following him is at the golf course. So, of course, we're hoping to confirm and get any more information about this. Celicia.
Dana Marie McNichol.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the autopen documents, all signed in the Biden administration, have been irrevocably canceled by the President of the United States, which brings us to this special moment in our program.
It's time for Radio Royalty with James Golden and America's Princess of Policy, Princess Di.
The vision of loveliness, the vision of intelligence-ness and analysis-ness, and yes, the vision of analystness on our program. The one and only Princess Di is in the house-ness. Good morning, Your Highness.
Oh, good morning, Sir James Ness. It's so wonderful to hear your voice, as always.
Oh, so wonderful to hear your voice, my dear. Okay, autopen is gone. What happens next? I mean...
Well, part of the amusement of that news report, which you very helpfully played, was the comment at the end that he was on the golf course. And as we know, As we know, all evil men on the planet need to shake in their boots when Trump is on the golf course, because things happen that he is able to post and make decisions when he is on vacation. And that was one of the big ones this weekend and this holiday time season. And I just wanted to mention that some of the most monumental, that's a word you've been using, and I think it's apt, the most monumental post by Donald Trump in his many years on the political scene and as president happened over the Thanksgiving break. And I just want us all, because many people who have been celebrating a traditional Thanksgiving have missed what has happened, and it's unbelievable, and a lot of it I am cheering heartily. So I would love to be able to get into that. What was your favorite part?
Well, it's number one, I think canceling the asylum program, finally. This whole asylum thing has been a sham ever since Obama. It was a bigger sham in Biden. It wasn't a sham so much during the Trump years, but this entire asylum process has been broken, misused. It's a sham. There's no way to vet the millions of people, and anybody that thinks there is doesn't understand the way the government works. There's no way to vet all these millions of people. I think it's about time that this whole sham of asylum goes down in flames. So I'm glad that took place. The autopen thing, I have questions, to be honest with you. Wow, I'm stunned that the Democrats haven't already been to court on this yet.
Well, how do you know they aren't? I would imagine they are. I think that, from the jump, this has been a legal problem for the Biden administration and its legacy. And I think there will be problems. Now, the part about, that Biden's going to be charged with perjury, I think that is highly unlikely. However, the rest of it, to challenge, especially the pardons that were signed by autopen, I think that there is a real legal risk, and I think that these people who were pardoned in the waning days of the Biden administration need to really stop being relaxed, because I think that some of them may be, in fact, non-pardoned or unpardoned.
Interesting. So you mentioned some of the other monumental changes. Delve into this with us. What has occurred while people were eating their turkey or their vegetables?
Well, sadly, a lot of it, I think, was provoked by the shooting, the murder, the assassination of Sarah Beckstrom, age 20, who volunteered to work on Thanksgiving, giving other people, she was single, giving other people the day off. She volunteered, and she was killed on the Thanksgiving Eve. She died on Thanksgiving, and she was shot by Ramanullah Lakhanwal from Afghanistan, along with Andrew Wolf, who was 24 years old. And I think when Sarah succumbed to her injuries on Thanksgiving Day, that was the last straw for Donald Trump. And a lot of what he has been saying for at least 10 years as president, from the time he campaigned in 2015 till now, a lot of his policy analysis and beliefs were cemented, and now they are going to be put into effect. And if you read through the Thanksgiving Day decree that he wrote after Sarah succumbed to her injuries, it is probably the most significant social media post that Trump has ever posted. And it's long, but I just want to go through some of it because a lot of people have no idea. It was an analysis of the social ruin that unchecked illegal immigration has caused in America. And so this is a big picture post. It's long, and he basically says that the American patriots have been attacked. And here is his quote: "Our country has been divided, disrupted, carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, and laughed at due to just plain stupid immigration policies. And he goes through the numbers, 53 million people who have come over, and, you know, he says from failed nations, prisons, mental institutions, gangs, drug cartels. They and their children are supported through massive payments from patriotic American citizens who, because of their beautiful hearts, do not want to openly complain or cause trouble in any way, shape, or form. They put up with what has happened to our country, but it's eating them alive to do so. And then he says, a migrant earning $30,000 with a green card will get roughly $50,000 in yearly benefits for their family. And then he mentions the real migrant population is much higher. He says this refugee burden is the leading cause of social dysfunction in America. And then he mentions failed schools, high crime, urban decay, overcrowded hospitals, housing shortages, large deficits. And then he talks about the example of hundreds of thousands of refugees from Somalia. And he explains how that is, you know, an example. And he has used this, and it bothers journalists because they say, well, why are you talking about Somalia when we're talking about a problem from Afghanistan? He uses it because it's such a clear example of something that has happened from many other countries. And so he basically says, I will permanently pause migrations from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover. He says he will terminate all of the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's autopen. He says he will remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country. He will end all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country. He will denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility and deport any foreign national who is a public charge, a security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization. Now, this group of promises and declarations are huge, and they are something that I don't think the rest of the country is even aware that he is saying that he's going to do. This is really what he started running on from the beginning, and he has worked through the courts and the challenges and the pushback from Democrats and also from his own party. And I think the death of Sarah Beckstrom has made his decision. He says, enough. I'm going to do this. I have to save the country, and this is what's going to happen. And so he says at the end of this monumental post, he says only reverse migration can fully cure the situation. And he says, happy Thanksgiving to all except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands for. You won't be here for long. To which I think all of us need to study this post, analyze this post, because the left is going to lose their minds if they already haven't. So I think this is a very important policy change decision that our president has made, and it needs to be supported full-heartedly.
As you say, this is going to cause an earthquake. I am not, I want to be really careful, Princess Di, which I had the caller earlier say, all the Somalis are this. No, all of them are not that. But that doesn't excuse the fact that Joe Biden and Barack Obama opened the door for an invasion of America. And let's just face it, that's what it was. And what was the purpose of doing that? The purpose of doing that was to ensure Democrat Party power. Plain and simple. Exactly. If we get enough populations in that we know can be reliably counted on to vote for Democrats, we put them in cities. And all of us kept wondering, why are they flying people to specific destinations? This was a plan. We're going to stock up the populations in certain districts in America where we know, and certain places where we know they will be counted in the census. That will yield more House seats. That will better our electoral chances. And not only that, we're going to give them benefits so that they have every reason to be thankful. And that goes back to the playbook that was used by the Tammany Hall Democrats in New York as immigrants first came off the boat to ensure their political power. And it has turned over a 200-year grip on political power from the Democrat Party. None of this is new. This is all planned.
Bingo. And I just want to say that already on the presidency changes and directives, the State Department has paused all issuances of visas for Afghans. The Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, known as FinCEN, is cracking down on illegal remittances. This is money sent back to home countries, countries of origin. The Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, posted, President Donald Trump is right. If you're here illegally, there's no place for you in our financial system. Illegal aliens that use our financial institutions to move their illicitly obtained funds is exploitation, and it will end. Now, talk about an earthquake. The money is where the secret power is. And the money that has been going, and they have traced some of that to fund Somalian terrorist groups back in Somalia. But the money is moved globally, and originally from the American taxpayer back to these countries. It's part of the left-wing global sluice of evil that has really put our country at risk. And so this change and following the money is going to make such a dramatic difference that I think, talk about an earthquake. The other thing that has happened is the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services halted all asylum decisions until they can ensure that every alien is vetted and screened. So we're having enormous policy changes. It's going to be noticed immediately, and the left is being threatened at their very root. And so this is going to cause enormous, in addition to what they usually do Monday through Sunday, with fury and anger, this is going to cause a whole next level on from the Democrat Party of anger and fury. So be prepared and be ready, and we all will stand firm.
We are going to continue with Princess Di, ladies and gentlemen.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And Princess Diana is here. You want to mention Donald Trump's most recent social media post?
Yes, this is huge. He, about less than an hour ago, he posted, to all airline pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers, please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I think that he has been working, in addition to all of the things I mentioned, he has been working very hard on the situation that is in our hemisphere. It's part of the Trump doctrine that, to dislodge communism and Chinese influence, Russian influence, all of that from our hemisphere. And one of the reasons I think for the Seditious Six video was sort of a prequel, because the left wants to save the drug traffickers, the Cartel de los Soles, the Cartel of the Sun, controlled by Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela. I think there's been a full court press. The New York Times and others are basically saying, are they really evil? Does Maduro really control? They're raising a whole lot of questions to protect Maduro and that whole trafficking money sluice that we've described. And that is why the focus has been on, quote unquote, illegal orders, because the Democrat Party is furious that drug traffickers are being killed outright by our military. And so the prequel for this video, I believe, was set up so that they could question this exact operation. They knew it was coming, and this whole operation was put in place to fight Donald Trump and what he's about to do, and that is to dislodge communism from our hemisphere.
Wow. Now, one more time, he's putting notice that the airspace of Venezuela is closed?
Yep. Now, he's got, as I've mentioned before, an entire armada of American military power, ships and battleships, everything surrounding that location. And so he has been moving assets down there as part of an operation that has been directly aimed at Maduro. And Maduro is fighting it back with his allies.
Wow. More coming up.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show.
Entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And there's been some, this is another Hegseth bash story that's out here. I'm not even going to get into it. James Golden, Snerdley, Princess Di is here. Okay, so let's play some sound bites. Princess Di, I'm going to begin with this one from the Attorney General of Oregon. This goes to something you were just talking about. Cut 25, Elias, Dan Raphael, earlier this week. Mm-hmm.
It's wild and absolutely stupid that we have to be here today, a day before Thanksgiving. We're one of the most wealthy countries in the world. And no one should go hungry in America. When this came out, I think a lot of us were thinking this has to be a mistake. These are lawful residents. The law is incredibly clear. Why would the USDA be yanking food benefits away from people? Because we actually genuinely thought this could be a mistake. A letter was sent earlier this month. No response was received. And that's why the lawsuit is being filed here today. It's that simple. If you're an asylum seeker, if you're here as a refugee, if you're here as a lawful resident, if you're here in the United States because of a humanitarian purpose, we should never yank people's food benefits away under these circumstances. We expect, just like in our other suits, to be incredibly successful. Proud to be a lead in this lawsuit being filed in Eugene. The hope is that we'll have a preliminary injunction filed a little bit later today so that we can get in front of the judge as quickly as possible.
So the state attorney general in Oregon is suing to keep non-citizens on SNAP benefits and other benefits. Your response, Princess Diana?
Typical of the left. That is basically, this is the philosophy that transposes good and evil and right and wrong. And so the traditional and well-tested immigration policy for generations, which was you will not be a public burden, you will not require any kind of welfare assistance if you want to be in this country, that has been completely turned on its head. And the philosophy of the left and the Democrat Party is that we owe people who have no legal right to be here, we owe them all medical care, all food, all taking care of housing, everything else. And it is something that, as Trump rightly described in that post I mentioned, has caused so much ruin in our country, and it has hurt Americans, and it cannot continue.
Cut 7 speaks for itself. Let's go to Minnesota. A news report from Minnesota.
Speaking of never heard of, the University of Minnesota's Child Development Program is warning about a whiteness pandemic and offering advice on how to reverse it. But first, obviously, what is a whiteness pandemic? Well, a page on the university's website says whiteness refers to culture, not biology. The centuries-old culture of whiteness features colorblindness, passivity, and white fragility, which are all covert expressions of racism common in the United States. The webpage then offers steps for how to halt and reverse the whiteness pandemic. Explaining this, if you were socialized into the culture of whiteness during childhood, not to worry, it's not your fault. But as an adult, it is now your responsibility to self-reflect, re-educate yourself, and act. A University of Minnesota spokesperson told Fox News Digital in a statement that the school is, quote, steadfast in its commitment to the principles of academic freedom. Joe Concha, I see that as we provide a place where any extreme viewpoint will in fact be offered, but not offering an association with that viewpoint.
Well said. Who wrote that? Joy Reid? I mean, where did this come? It's so racist. It's insane. A whiteness pandemic. It sounds like a disease that's in search of a cure. And apparently the only way to do that is to re-educate yourself by joining, according to the website, Black Lives Matter, which is only one of the most corrupt organizations around. So it's not a surprise this is happening in Minnesota, though. This is the same place.
Princess Diana, a whiteness pandemic, according to the University of Minnesota.
Well, I was stunned by what the evidence of this. And one of the symptoms of a whiteness pandemic apparently is colorblindness. Now, how does that make any sense? Because, you know, the idea of colorblindness is that you treat individuals as individuals and you're not basically defining them by color. So how can we have a whiteness pandemic if one of the evidences of whiteness pandemic is colorblindness? It is just, you know, this is what happens to leftists. Their brains become mush.
Cut number 12. Eli and this Elias and Princess Diana, this goes to something you have discussed with us.
They tell us to stop eating out and rent $2,000 a month. Oh, save for retirement, and yet you can barely save for next week. Go buy a house. Yep, every house is $500,000, brother. I'm not asking for a handout, man. We're asking for a freaking fair shot at life. Our parents did not work harder than we work right now. They were simply just given a better chance. Their wages covered their lives, their bills, their hobbies, their passions. Our wages barely cover our freaking bills for the month, dude. No amount of budgeting can ever fix a system designed to keep us down. We're doing the best that we can, and yet it feels like the outcome has already been decided.
What say you, Princess Diana?
He's absolutely right. It has been a deliberate policy of the left 100% to absolutely destroy the middle class, because they know that the American middle class and the upward mobility that has traditionally been America's birthright has stopped communism all over from the world has looked to America, because the one thing that stopped the spread of communism back in other decades has been the fact that we knew there was hope here and we could better ourselves financially and for our families. And so the left has made it an absolute mission to destroy the American middle class, because they know if they want to impose communism here, they have to eliminate the ability of people to have hope.
Got it. Let's head to the telephones. Princess Diana. Edith is calling in from Manhattan, New York. You are on with Bo Snerdley and Princess Diana. Edith, good morning. How are you?
Hello. Am I on the phone?
Yes, you are on the phone. That's how you called us, honey.
My God, I just have to compliment you. You're just the best, smartest, most common sense. I have enough words to compliment how fantastic.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, darling.
And I'm the first-time caller. I've been trying for months. Now, my one question is, which I always thought, in order to be the head of this country, whether it's a mayor, a governor, or a president, I thought you had to be an American born.
No, not for all of them. For some of them. Back me up on this, Princess Diana.
I believe it's only the president.
That's right. You don't, and well, vice president too, because you can't be elevated into the presidency and not be American born.
Correct.
Outside of that, you can be. That's how Ilhan Omar, by the way, is here. You have refugees and other people that came in that have been successfully run for elective office. You have one in the United States that wasn't American born. His name is Zoran Mamdani. He wasn't born here. So no, you can be citizens of another country, move here, still run from another. It's a great country, but you can't be president. So that's the way that one.
Since it's 2018, so he's actually very new, and nobody even heard of him, and he was made a mayor. It's disgusting. Now,
it's disgusting. Oh, it's America showing its greatness. Here's the way to look at this, Edith. he got elected. Now he's got to deliver. And for those people, yes, I understand the upset that New York would dare elect an openly socialist mayor, but there's a silver lining. The silver lining is now he's got to come up with all the free stuff. And he's got to do it in a way to keep his tax base together so that the tax base in New York doesn't crumble. Otherwise, he's going to break his promises. So we should all just get some popcorn, relax, watch the show, because this is going to be interesting what happens in New York from this point. And by the way, Eric Adams is not through with him yet on this whole rent stabilization thing. From what I understand, he's trying to fix the rent board so that he can't get it. Kathy Hochul's going to be in a pickle. She supported him. Now she's got to either come up with, let's tax everybody so that they can fund this free stuff and lose the tax base, or else let's tell Zoran no. So it's going to be an interesting show. Get some popcorn. And Edith, thank you for the call. Love it. Thank you. Rob in Franklin Square, New York.
Good morning, Mr. Golden. God bless you and your family, and Princess Di and your family. Actually, I was calling about something you had yesterday, but as far as the Afghanistan, the debacle in 2021, there were a lot of, besides this screwball that unfortunately killed that beautiful National Guard woman, there were a lot of them that were left that couldn't get out. I didn't realize it was that many refugees that did get out, at 70 to 120,000. But a lot of them that were helping the CIA and the Rangers, they couldn't get out. In particular, one guy, the Dana Perino, they called up Fox. He from different locations, because the Taliban, once they got out, the Taliban was hunting them down and murdering them. He couldn't get out. They told him to get. They could have got him out on a plane for about 30 minutes, but his family was in a different location. He couldn't leave them, but they were going through back channels. Finally, they did get him out. And what happened was he and you know what? He still didn't get asylum because he reported to a place in the South End, Georgia, or something, to report in, and then ICE got him, and they so it's a horrible thing, but but I did a lot of these Afghan refugees, you got to really worry about them being
Okay, so Princess Diana, so let me just put the question I think that you're asking.
Yeah.
Princess Diana, aren't some of these people that came in, are they deserving to be here for the help that they gave the American military and the CIA?
You have to ask the people who were there, who will give you a very complex answer to that. In that the loyalty that there was shown by many brave Afghans at the time is something that basically was purchased. And once the money stops and people are brought over here, their loyalty evaporates. And so it has to be, as you have said, a very, very strict vetting on an individual basis, but very cautiously because of the history there. A lot of the soldiers who were there, who worked with Afghanistan culture, see the dangers of importing it here. The culture is endemic. There's a lot of abuse of women, a lot of abuse of children. And so that is something that you have to be extremely careful. And the documentation is so spotty. And talk about biometric markers. There is no records for a lot of these people.
Right. No record. And the same with what's going on with the migration from Latin America. No records. What vetting? No records. It's all been a sham. This entire asylum thing has been a sham from day one. I'm telling you that right now. James Golden, Snerdley.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Princess Di is here. Princess, I got one more soundbite for you to comment on. We've heard it already twice today. A generational soundbite, apparently. Cut 15. Elias, and let's see what the princess has to say.
I'm being so serious. The next man that enters my life, he is required to take me out on 3 dates before he gets a sleepover and before he gets my clothes off. Okay, I'm being so for real right now, because here's the thing. as soon as you spend the night with a man, not even doing anything, they stop asking you out on dates. Then, once you sleep with them, they don't want anything to f***ing do with you anymore. Which, like, whatever. I'm tired of men sexualizing me and objectifying me. Yeah, I've made it very easy for them to do that in the past, but, like, I'm done. I'm seriously done. Like, hookup culture is fun for, like, 5 minutes. I miss connection. I miss having feelings. I miss being yearned for. I miss yearning. I can't just keep getting obsessed with a man for a week or two and then moving on to the next one. It's too exhausting, and it's honestly, like, mentally draining. So seriously, the next guy that enters my life, he has to take me on 3 dates. Not sleepovers, not hang outside his apartment. He has to take me to in-person public activity dates, whether it's dinner, whether it's going on a walk, something. I am tired of a man being like, let's go on 1 date, and then you can come over, and you can just come over every time you want to hang out. No. What happened to romance? I want romance! Anyways, celibacy era is going great so far.
So, you have to take her on 3 dates, and then you get the prize. 3 dates. Because 3 dates. Not 1. And then she'll take off her clothes. 3 dates.
Well, James, instead of focusing on that number, 3 dates, I really find that interesting because it reveals the power of women to control the situation and to say no and to respect themselves and to basically demand romance. All of these things are in women's nature. And generally speaking, I know it's hard to say things generally, but what women want and desire is healthy for civilization, for them to control the situation, to demand respect, to demand romance, and they have the power to make that happen society-wide. So I'm very happy, and I hope she speaks for her generation of being tired of men sexualizing her. Well, then stop sexualizing yourself.
3 dates. 3 dates. Not the first date, you won't get any. The second date, you can't have none. But if you take me on 3 dates, because I have yearning, I want yearning, 3 dates, and I'll give it up. 3 dates. Are you for real?
How about put a ring on it? There you go.
What?
Instead of counting how many dates, you wear the wedding ring and then it happens. That is tried and true over thousands of years.
Okay, I'm trying to see if we have time for one more. We do have time. No, we don't. Shoot. And this was a goodie, too. It was a woman's rules for marriage. It's different than the 3 dates and then you can get it. We'll have to do that one next time. 3 dates. And now I'm hearing from America's small caffeinated mom who's not out here. She's sending me a text. She's on to something with the connection piece. That's huge. The connection piece. What? What the hell? Princess Di, men in my day, it wasn't 3 dates. I'll tell you that. 3 dates just got you another date if you made it past 3. That was it. 3 dates. You get another date maybe if I like you. And it's I don't understand what has happened to the world. Do I sound old? I don't understand.
Well, I think you sound old but wise, and I think you told me once that an older gentleman said to you that women rule the world, and they can.
Well, that wasn't quite his quote, but you remember it.
I'm saying that, my translation.
You cleaned it up for radio, because...
Yes, and it's true. So saying no is very important for controlling the future of the human race in a secure, healthy way. Family formation.
Yes, indeed. Well, I'll tell you what, Princess Di, so let me just ask you one other thing. Now all of these, back to politics for a minute. Well, we're out. But do you think that ultimately Donald Trump is going to prevail with these monumental changes?
Absolutely. 100% because of his determination. And he's got the entire left of the entire world against him, but he's plowing forward with 100% determination and righteousness. And interestingly enough, we should talk about it this week. What you referenced, the Pete Hegseth, the latest controversy, is tied up with the seditious six. That was what they were talking about. They're claiming now that he is giving illegal orders. They knew this was coming. This has to do with the blowing up of the drug-running boats. And they are claiming that he is giving orders that if they survive in the water, that America kills them, which is illegal. So that is what we have to look out for this week.
We will do it. We have to go. May God bless, protect each and every single one of you, your families, your loved ones. See you next time, folks. I bid you adieu.
Thanks for listening to The James Golden Show. You can hear The James Golden Show Saturday mornings at 7. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?